very best, as sure as the earth is round.
You don't believe that, Coach.
No, you know, I never used to believe it, Sam, till I saw those pictures from the space shuttle.
People thinking about the Earth.
And asking the question, could the Earth be flat? Greg Argos is here with more on the movement that is taking on centuries of scientific research, Greg.
It really is, guys. And Yuki, this was just unveiled just yesterday, in fact. This billboard, a digital billboard unveiled yesterday, and it's calling into question a theory most of us have accepted, that the Earth, of course, is round. But those behind this billboard say, well, we've all been tricked. Drivers heading eastbound on the Schuylkill already battle some serious traffic. But now there's another distraction slowing them down, and it's just 100 feet above their heads.
No. That's pretty ridiculous. They're missing a lot.
Sandwiched between two insurance ads is this bold three-word billboard: Research Flat Earth.
I know about these folks.
I can't believe this is for real.
That they have some very hard, concrete evidence that they've convinced themselves that the Earth is flat.
We believe this is something that needs to be talked about.
Math Powerland purchased the ad.
$900 a week for that one.
He's a member of the Infinite Plane Society whose members believe the Earth is flat. He says NASA's pictures and spacewalks showing a curved Earth are all made up.
We believe it's all faked. All of it's in front of CGI, augmented virtual reality. The spacewalks are, for the most part, done in desalinated water tanks.
Greek mathematicians figured out that the Earth is round simply by looking at the angle of shadows in different places on the surface of the planet.
Derek Pitts, the Franklin Institute's chief astronomer, says it's fine to have different opinions, but when there is concrete evidence to the contrary, you have to accept reality.
We've been able to observe lunar eclipses from Earth. The only way you can make a curved shadow is if you have a curved object that blocks the light.
And for at least the next week, this ad will be blocking drivers' attention. Now, Philadelphia is the first city this billboard was introduced. He plans to unveil other ads in Phoenix and Denver in the coming weeks, and he's actually getting a lot of hits on his website.
No, I mean it. He was the very best, as sure as the earth is round.
You don't believe that, Coach.
No, you know, I never used to believe it, Sam, till I saw those pictures from the space shuttle.
People thinking about the Earth.
And asking the question, could the Earth be flat? Greg Argos is here with more on the movement that is taking on centuries of scientific research, Greg.
It really is, guys. And Yuki, this was just unveiled just yesterday, in fact. This billboard, a digital billboard unveiled yesterday, and it's calling into question a theory most of us have accepted, that the Earth, of course, is round. But those behind this billboard say, well, we've all been tricked. Drivers heading eastbound on the Schuylkill already battle some serious traffic. But now there's another distraction slowing them down, and it's just 100 feet above their heads.
No. That's pretty ridiculous. They're missing a lot.
Sandwiched between two insurance ads is this bold three-word billboard: Research Flat Earth. I know
For real.
That they have some very hard, concrete evidence.
He's a member of the Infinite Plane Society whose members believe the Earth is flat. He says NASA's pictures and spacewalks showing a curved Earth are all made up.
We believe it's all faked. All of it's in front of CGI.
Actually, more like 330 BC.
The Greek mathematicians figured out that the Earth is round simply by looking at the angle of shadows in different places on the surface of the planet.
Derek Pitts, the Franklin Institute's chief astronomer, says it's fine to have different opinions, but when there is concrete evidence to the contrary, you have to accept reality.
We've been able to observe lunar eclipses from Earth. The only way you can make a curved shadow is if you have a curved object that blocks the light.
And for at least the next week, this ad will be blocking drivers' attention. Now, Philadelphia is the first city this billboard was introduced. Plans to unveil other ads in Phoenix and Denver in the coming weeks, and he's actually getting a lot of hits on his website.
No, I mean it. He was the very best, as sure as the earth is round.
You don't believe that, Coach.
No, you know, I never used to believe it, Sam, till I saw those pictures from the space shuttle.
2 cell phones, after all.
What?
Right before your surgery, I asked if you had packed your cell phone, and you said, which one?
When? Skylar, I was medicated. I mean, I could have said the world was flat.
You know what I think? I think you accidentally told the truth.
If I say that the world is round and someone else says it's flat, that's worth reporting. But you might also want to report on a bunch of scientific evidence that seems to support the notion that the world is round.
We don't have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society. They must have been founding members of the Flat Earth Society. They would not have believed that the world was round. Looked around at this flat, beautiful land, and all this sun. I asked the question, how many days of sun do you get a year? 320. That's pretty good.
There are still a few who insist that climate change is one big hoax, even a political conspiracy. My friends, these people are so out of touch with science that they believe rising sea levels don't matter because in their view the extra water is just going to spill out over the sides of a flat Earth. They're wrong, obviously. For the benefit of those who may still question the 97% of peer-reviewed studies on climate change, let me just underscore, you don't need to be a scientist to know that the Earth is round, that the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, and that gravity is the reason that objects fall to the ground. You could pick 100 different examples of simple things that happen every day that reflect science and determinations of science. And you don't need to be a scientist.
This is happening. It's happening now. It's happening faster than scientists had predicted it would, and it's happening to greater degrees than scientists predicted it would. And we need, as responsible leaders, to take account of science, not some cockamamie ideological hypothetical, but science. And we need to make clear that those members of the Flat Earth Society are on the wrong side of history. We are going to make Paris the demarcation point where we begin to get the job done to save the planet, period.
They've been talking down new sources of energy. They dismiss wind power. They dismiss solar power. They make jokes about biofuels. They were against raising fuel standards. I guess they like gas guzzlers. They think that's good for our future. We're trying to move towards the future. They want to be stuck in the past. And we've heard this kind of thinking before. Let me tell you something. If some of these folks were around when Columbus set sail, they must have been founding members of the Flat Earth Society. They would not have believed that the world was round. But more broadly, we've got to move beyond partisan politics on this issue. I want to be clear. I am willing to work with anybody. Republicans, Democrats, Independents, Libertarians, Greens, anybody to combat this threat on behalf of our kids. I am open to all sorts of new ideas, maybe better ideas, to make sure that we deal with climate change in a way that promotes jobs and growth. Nobody has a monopoly on what is a very hard problem. But I don't have much patience for anyone who denies that this challenge is real. We don't have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society.
We weren't able to shatter that highest, hardest glass ceiling this time. Thanks to you, it's got about 18 million cracks in it.
And it may be hard to see tonight, but we are all standing under a glass ceiling right now.
And the light is shining through like never before, filling us all with the hope and the sure knowledge.
4 members of the Republican Party who are running for president also do not believe in evolution. Yes. So if there was a gasp in the audience, it should be a bigger gasp.
Is the world flat? Is the world flat?
Yes.
I don't know. What do you think? I never thought about it, Whoopi. Is the world flat?
We've got a mobile studio, 2 chairs, a camera crew, and most importantly, we've got you. Oh, you're coming in. Your questions.
We got a viewer question in coming in from Facebook right now.
Questions I make sure they answer. This is not a joke.
This is not a joke.
You
It is not
guys
a troll.
legitimately believe
Yes.
this theory.
100%.
And it's shot live. Let's be clear.
Matt Prosella and Jimmy Shields, they're part of a growing movement of people who legitimately believe the Earth is flat. Yeah, you may roll your round globular eyes at these flat earthers. Think it's a joke? I promise this interview won't be flat.
Complained about how some of their students were openly following Irving's lead and creating havoc in the classrooms.
A couple days ago, Irving joined the, quote, Holding Court with Gino Auriemma podcast. He's got more, people. This is what he told Gino.
When I started actually doing research on my own and figuring out that there is no real picture of Earth, like there's not one picture of Earth, and we haven't been back to the moon since 1961 or 1969, and you start, and then it becomes like conspiracy.
And the number of people who think so is growing. You may think it sounds crazy, but in 2017, thousands, if not millions of people still believe the world is flat.
Now, scientists say that's actually a symptom of a bigger problem, and it's the subject of tonight's special report. WCIA3's Aaron Eads is here with us now. And Aaron, as far as conspiracy theories go, flat Earth theory is actually getting pretty popular.
Yeah, believe it or not, in 2017, the number of people who believe the Earth is flat is actually growing. Scientists might have an idea of why that is, and it's worth talking about. There are ideas that this is a sham.
It's very upsetting for a professor of astronomy to have people think still in today's world that it's flat.
But how? NASA, a fraudulent organization bent on siphoning your tax dollars. The moon landing didn't happen. The biggest concern with the Flat Earth movement is how fast it's gaining steam. To leave you with a scary thought this Halloween night, scientists are worried that Flat Earth could become a political issue like climate change, vaccination, or evolution. Guys.
All right, fascinating stuff. All right, Aaron, thank you.
Very interesting.
We aired a segment last Monday about the Flat Earth movement. You know, the dudes who seriously believe the Earth is flat. They agreed to take your questions as part of a Let's Be Clear segment. This is from Patrice. If the Earth is flat, why hasn't anyone gone to the edge and taken a picture?
We're basically kept in the middle, and that's due to the Antarctic Treaty. In our model, not everybody agrees with this, but in our model, we're surrounded by Antarctica. It's not.
Okay, that was a really weird interview. We heard from a whole bunch of you who said, why waste our time talking about this, and you guys shouldn't have given these guys airtime. Some of you felt we should have had a counterpoint to their flat Earth claim, so here it is with our science guy, Steve Spangler. So is the Earth round like a globe?
Yes, it is.
Okay. All right, there's the rebuttal. Debating over the Earth's shape is stupid since it's 2017 and not 1317. Who knows why people are flocking to this absurd belief, but we hope it got people talking about what drives such theories, maybe something about human psychology here. I always like to end these interviews with our Let's Be Clear segments with last thoughts. Any last thoughts you guys want to say?
Yeah, just what you were just saying, man. It takes somebody to actually go in and really look at it because it's very hard to break the programming. We've spent our whole lives watching movies, going to school, just being globes in your face, globes, 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 heliocentric model this, gravity that. Everything is just, it's all programming. Once you could break through that programming, look at it unbiasedly, you'll see that the information that we're talking about is real. There is no detectable curvature and there is no measurable motion.
Jimmy, any lasting thoughts?
So I was always raised to be open-minded and question things, and before you guys ridicule someone, please research. If you want to spend some time and research it and then come and debate us, that's fine. But 99% of the people that are calling us stupid, all this, they've never looked into it for 5 minutes. So this is supposed to be a, 2017. You're supposed to be able to question things. So why don't we question a few things?
Okay. All right. Well, gentlemen, even though I strongly disagree with your belief, and I probably will never ever come to the conclusion that the Earth is flat, I want to thank you for subjecting yourselves
Are you
to
gonna,
the.
are you
to
gonna
the
look at it, or are you just gonna?
You know, I've been reading a lot about it. You know, I'm on the internet a lot. I've heard a lot about flat earthers like yourselves, and you know, I've read about a lot of other conspiracy theories. I can't be convinced to be flipped to like these conspiracy theories. I just can't. I just can't. I'm not. I'm a skeptical person by nature. But am I ever going to believe that the Earth is flat? Absolutely not.
See, you're going to be ridiculed, mocked, and shamed if you ever.
I absolutely will.
In your job.
Yeah.
That's why most.
According to a recent study conducted by the National Science Foundation, 1 in 4 Americans believes that the sun and everything else in space revolves around the Earth, and not, as modern science says, the other way around. Believing in what's called geocentrism is really pretty stupid right now, given that Galileo, Copernicus, and Kepler debunked it over 500 years ago. It's about as sensible as believing in Bigfoot or the reptile Illuminati. And anyone who wants to be taken seriously as a modern thinking person pretty much rejects geocentrism outright. The same can be said about climate change denial. Over 97% of scientists agree that global warming is real and that human beings are causing it by burning fossil fuels. There is no debate. Climate change is a fact, just like the Earth revolving around the sun is a fact. And anyone who says otherwise should be treated like the crazy person they are.
Why are you so sure they're coming here?
Well, because mosquitoes, these kind of mosquitoes are here in the United States. And we now know that these mosquitoes can get Zika virus very easily from biting somebody. And the world is flat, right? The World Cup happened. And then all of a sudden, people from Brazil went all over the world and transmitted Zika.
So if in fact somebody comes here and has the Zika virus and a mosquito bites them, then that mosquito can spread it anywhere.
Exactly. One can lead to thousands.
What about the Summer Games, the Olympic Games, and the possibility of there, you have people from all around the world going to a place where they could contact Zika and then returning, spreading back out around the world with Zika contamination.
It's a public health nightmare. And so I think when we all look at this, we have to learn from it. Zika will be the first of many viruses over the years because the world is flat. You know, yesterday they discovered the papers of the guy who discovered Zika.
What about, but could you also hold some on the flat earth theory at the same time? I
don't understand that.
That would be great.
He's getting rid of all those radical regulations.
That's an ad hominem attack. You would not survive the debate.
Disqualified.
Yeah.
I see, because
you said you called me flat earth. You would not last the debate because you don't have a fact.
I'd be delighted to have the debate.
DQ.
But it's just like you debate something that is so obvious, like the sun comes up every morning. Now let's have a debate.
That's not a debate.
Until I found this photo from Grand Mere State Park. This is from Joshua Nowicki. And what you're seeing here is a mirage. We typically would not be able to see this from the Lake Michigan shore. We talked about this last night. Conditions are right on the lake that we're actually seeing a mirage of the Chicago skyline. Very interesting here. Here's what's happening. This is a good example of a superior mirage. So Joshua was on the Lake Michigan shore. He was looking towards the west, and Chicago's beyond the horizon. Should not be able to see it. However, with the right conditions, we have an inversion. We have cold air near the cold lake water and some relatively warmer air above it. This will bend the image of that skyline back towards the viewer. And so typically we would not be able to see this. This image would be viewable from much, much higher in the sky, up in space.
So you have to have pretty good aim, and you be ready to make sure things get let go the right direction. And it smells a little bit, so I'm closing it up. And that's, of course, for number 2. And this guy right here is for number 1.
You might think that climate change is a hoax and that 9/11 was an inside job. But the granddaddy of all conspiracies, that we actually live on a flat Earth, seems to be making a comeback.
De volgende is voor Margriet. Eindconclusie van internationale conferentie Egmond aan Zee is: de aarde is plat. Is dat nepnieuws of is dat echt nieuws? Jeetje, ik vind het zo bizar. Wat, dat de aarde plat is? Dat daar een conferentie is in Egmond aan Zee, ja, internationaal, hè? En dat ze dan concluderen dat de aarde plat is. Dus misschien is het wel waar. Is het wel waar? Nou, voor het antwoord ga ik even naar mijn gasten. Hallo, God, Mike en Bastiaan, goedenavond. De aarde is plat. Als ik dat aan jullie vraag, dan zeggen jullie?
Ja.
Nou ja. En hoe weten jullie dat?
Kijken, zelf onderzoek doen in plaats van Discovery of NASA geloven. Gewoon zelf meten.
Even voordat je dat meten uitlegt. Weten jullie inmiddels ook hoe de platte aarde eruit ziet?
Dat weet niemand.
Oh, dat weet je niet. Maar ongeveer, heb je een idee? Is er een...
Ja, plat.
Ja. Maar plat van je valt eraf?
Nee.
Nee? Buiten kijf?
Ja.
Nee, je zit in een gesloten systeem.
Ja.
Je zit in een cv-installatie die onder druk staat.
Ja, zo moet je dat zien.
En hoe zit het met de andere planeten? Zijn die wel rond?
Zo zien ze er wel uit. Maar we weten niet of het terra firma is, zeg maar.
Ja. Dus die zouden ook plat kunnen zijn? Of
theoretisch gezien wel,
zou alles kunnen zijn?
Of geen fysieke objecten.
Ja.
Dus dat het een illusie is eigenlijk?
Ja.
De andere planeten?
Ja, eigenlijk is tv ook een illusie. Hè?
Dus eigenlijk het onderzoek naar het heelal zou ook wel eens een bedenksel kunnen zijn?
Ja. Nou, meer een scam. Het is meer om de burger geld uit zijn zak te kloppen. Ja. En ons maar te doen laten geloven dat er andere planeten zijn waar we op kunnen gaan wonen.
Oh ja, want daarvan denk je, dat is mij beloofd, maar misschien is dat helemaal
is
onzin.
Ja.
Terwijl je daar misschien van gaat
onzin.
denken, het is onzin. En als je met iets als KLM, Air France of zo gaat praten en zegt van volgens ons is de aarde plat, wat zeggen zij dan? Want zij vliegen er natuurlijk
zij zullen
omheen.
zeggen van niet, maar een instrumentatie in hun vliegtuig geeft aan dat ze over een plat vlak vliegen. Daarom heeft het ook een airplane en geen air curve.
Ja, dat vind ik ook. Wat zien we hier?
Ja, dit is een visuele weergave van een alternatief model.
Dit is eigenlijk wat je buiten ziet.
De alternatieve vorm van de aarde.
Ja.
Het is eigenlijk een goede gok op wat het is. Want we kunnen niet hoog genoeg komen om het te zien of om het in beeld te krijgen van wat het nou eigenlijk werkelijk is.
Nee.
Exact.
En wie is jullie? Als je zegt wij kunnen niet hoog genoeg komen?
Flat Earthers.
Flat Earthers. Met hoeveel zijn jullie?
Miljoenen
ondertussen, ja.
Serieus?
Ja.
Duizenden per dag komen erbij.
En er zijn er ook nog stille mensen die het gewoon niet durven vertellen. Want als je dit gaat vertellen...
Maar hier heb je wel
gezien.
echt veel mensen voor nodig die jarenlang hebben gezegd de aarde is rond.
Je hebt alleen indoctrinatie voor nodig. Je gaat mensen constant vertellen dat iets zo is. Als je de leugen blijft herhalen, wordt het vanzelf de waarheid.
En waar is die leugen ooit begonnen?
Copernicus.
Die heeft al de leugen. Die dacht, ik heb een ontdekking. Echt niet.
Ja.
Dat is eigenlijk het eerste gefakte wetenschappelijk onderzoek. Dus die aarde is rond.
Voordat u überhaupt met een ballon of iets dergelijks de lucht in kon komen, stond er al een bol in elk klaslokaal. Zonder dat ze het überhaupt met hun eigen ogen gezien hadden. Het werd voor waarheid aangenomen zonder dat er iemand ooit een meting heeft gedaan. En dat is gewoon een verder gaan borduren over de eeuwen heen.
En toen
nou geloven we het allemaal.
Klopte alles.
Mag ik jullie hartelijk danken.
Graag gedaan.
Margriet, je hebt het goed.